Despite its name, the Acer Liquid Metal is primarily made up of plastic with a little bit of chrome edging and quite a lot of curves. It runs an 800 MHz processor, which is 200 MHz less than the Stream. It has Wi-Fi of the B, G and N variety, along with Bluetooth, GPS and an HSDPA modem allowing you to download up to 14.4 megabits per second. Now the front face of the device has 4 touch-sensitive keys at the bottom: the home key, the search key, the back key and the options come menu key. We have a 3.6-inch LCD display at a 480 by 800 pixel resolution. The right-hand edge has a dedicated camera hardware key, along with a volume rocker for turning up or down your music. The top edge of the device has a 3.5mm headphone port, an LED notification light and the power on and off button, which can also be used to lock the device. The left-hand edge has nothing going on whatsoever. The bottom of the device has the micro USB port and the microphone, whilst the back of the device has a flash and a 5 megapixel camera sensor. Now the camera itself was a little bit disappointing despite the 5 megapixel sensor and flash. It struggled to autofocus on things despite that being one of its features, and also under lower light conditions the colours went a little bit off. Overall, the device is on the larger side, feels a bit bulky, especially given the screen size, and because of the plastics, it may leave you wanting something a bit more refined in terms of the build quality. With that said, it's not a bad device at all, and now let's take a look at the software. Now Acer are using Android 2.2 with the Liquid Metal, which is great to see. However, it still includes Acer's user interface enhancements, so as I wake the device, you'll see here the lock screen. Now the lock screen actually has a number of widgets on it, including time, missed calls, new messages and weather, and you can swipe between lock screens where you can have access to different widgets. This lock screen is empty, but as I swipe back you'll see that we have the social widget that Acer have included here, then the music widget, and despite the fact that the phone is locked, you still have access to all these different widgets. And this is kind of nice and bad. It's good because as you pull the phone out of your pocket for the first time, you'll have access to things that you could potentially need quite frequently. However, it does divide the user experience a little bit, especially if you're used to using another Android phone. And by that I mean, when you're actually on the normal home screen, after the phone has been unlocked, you'll find that you don't have any widgets. So if we unlock the device now, you'll see that you're actually presented with, again, a slightly different look and feel to the stock Android build. We have a tray here with 8 icons that are permanently displayed, and then if you swipe to one side you have access to a history section, again of Acer's own inclusion, and this gives you access to the most recently viewed applications, web pages and so on. Now if I actually bring up the notification bar, excuse me one moment, by tapping, you'll see that it's actually one of Acer's better additions to the stock Android experience. We can see here that we have access to latest pieces of information such as the time. We can even set an alarm. We also have our most recent emails, and if we swipe from right to left one more time, you'll see a whole bunch of shortcuts to different features of the phone, including GPS, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, the network that we're on, or even the battery life. Now this is great because these are the sorts of things that you'll want to change on a regular basis to save battery and of course to get the most out of your phone. It's as easy as tapping on them once and then tapping on the toggle on and off to switch, for example, GPS on or off. So if I tap at the very top and out of the notification bar and drag the tray up, you'll see that the 8 dedicated icons that were available to us remain. We can also swipe from right to left for the remaining shortcut icons for all the other programs that we might have installed. This is quite a nice little feature because it allows us to always have good constant access to our 8 most important shortcuts, whilst at the same time having access to all of our other ones very simply too. So Acer have included a number of applications with the Acer Liquid Metal to try and get you to stick with them in the future. These might include the Acer Spinlets, which give you access to streaming media such as music and TV for free from anywhere in the world, providing you have internet. There's also the social jogger application, which creates a collated list of all your Facebook updates and other social media updates for you to peruse and gain direct access to. There's also the Your Foo's avatar creation system, along with the Nemo player, which is like their own version of the standard Android music player. And they've also thrown in there for good measure RoadSync, which is a third-party application from Microsoft Exchange. As you'll have just seen in the case of Social Jogger, if you tap any one of the social media updates, it will take you to the appropriate application or web page to launch to gain better access to that information. So in this case, it was Facebook. If we take a quick look at the contacts system, you'll see that because we've already provided a Gmail account, we don't need to manually add or create our contacts as we use this phone for the first time. They're all synchronized with the Gmail contacts that I already had, and indeed can access from any other Android device where I've synced it up to my Gmail account. Now, it's been a little while since Acer entered the mobile phone market and decided to try and become a key player in that industry. And it took them, again, a little bit of time before they jumped on the Android bandwagon as the software that they will primarily use for their phones. So let's take a look at the settings on this device and jump into the About Phone section and take a look just to be certain of the Android version and other vitals that this phone is running. Now, as we can see here, it's definitely running Android 2.2 with a special build for the Liquid Metal, as you'd expect. Now let's take a look at the device information, because this will give us some idea about the CPU vendor, which is indeed Qualcomm, and it's currently clocked to 800 MHz. There's 512 ROM size and 512 megabytes of RAM size, and again we can see here the horizontal and vertical pixels as outlined at the beginning of this review. So as we head back, we can check out the battery use screen to see what has been using the battery. Acer haven't added anything fancy here, unlike the Nexus S running Google Android 2.3 where you have a battery graph. This just shows the standard stock Android battery usage page. So to wrap up this review, I wanted to see how the Acer Liquid Metal can handle Mozilla Firefox web browser for Android. The Mozilla Firefox version that I've installed is the latest one at the time of publication, which is 4.0b5. It's about 13 megabytes from the Android marketplace. This particular version offers improved performance for faster page loading time, reduced startup time, better JavaScript performance, as well as lower memory usage. Now, I'm going to make a search here for mobile burn. I'm typing very slowly because of the way I'm having to hold the phone, but I just want to sort of get a feel for how well the phone handles Firefox and how quickly it loads pages. Of course, I'm on Wi-Fi, but also the panning around and so on and so forth. So as I click the #1 link here in Google, it will take me to the Mobile Burn web page. I really just wanted to get a very, very brief feel for how the panning, double tapping to zoom in and pinch to zoom out works on this device. So let's take a look here. The transition there, the animation was smooth, as you'd expect. Let's pinch to zoom out. Yeah, that works very nicely as well. So really, that was all I wanted to check. Overall, the Acer Liquid Metal is a solid contender. I don't think it's quite as nice as the Acer Stream, but it's also a lot cheaper. It has 200 megahertz less processing power, but as you can see with Firefox here, that doesn't seem to match on the day-to-day usage of things. So if you're interested in this device, you can pick it up from Acer for about £270.